From the stable in Oak Park Heights, we present high school volleyball. It's opening night across the state, and a team that reached the Class 3A state tournament a year ago hopes to make a repeat appearance. The Stillwater area Ponies host the Grand Rapids Thunderhawks. Hi everyone, I'm Mike Beaton. Thank you for joining us in our first broadcast of the season. We're going to be here doing a lot of volleyball and soccer at Stillwater, part of our partnership with Valley Access Channels. Stillwater reached the state tournament a year ago despite the absence of Maddy Whittington, who tore her ACL, MCL, and meniscus before ever playing a single game in her sophomore year. She's back, ready to go, and she could not be more excited to rejoin the Ponies on the floor where she belongs. She recently verbal to Illinois. She's a junior, so she can't commit just yet, but a senior who has committed for the Ponies is Reece Koehler. She's going to Seton Hall. Stillwater, the number 4 team in the preseason rankings in Class 3A. And Koehler and Whittington, a big factor for their preseason hype. Most teams, their strength relies on the outside hitting. For Stillwater, it's going to be up the middle. That being said, Reece and Maddie have no problem sharing with one another. Grand Rapids reached the section final, in Section 7 last year. They lost to Forest Lake, but they bring back 6 seniors who will make the core of a tight-knit group. This team has 3 sets of sisters and a D1 commit in Megan Walsh. Grand Rapids, a school that produces top-notch athletes regardless of the sport, and they're going to get a taste of one of the metro area powers for 2018. We'll be back to kick things off. You're watching high school volleyball. Welcome back to the stable in Oak Park Heights. Here's the starting rotation for Grand Rapids. It's Anna Geislinger, number 4, the junior setter. Number 5, Claire Walsh, sophomore outside hitter. Andrea McCarvich, number 8, senior right hitter. Megan Walsh, number 9, the senior outside hitter. Jenny Bowman, number 14, sophomore middle hitter. And number 18, Lizzie Bowman, the senior middle hitter. Haley Orn, the libero. Stillwater's rotation, Lexi Oltgen, number 1, the senior outside hitter. Brooke Aschenbrenner, number 3, the senior, goes between outside and the middle. Reece Koehler, number 6, the senior middle. Maddy Whittington, number 7, the junior middle. Olivia Walsh, number 9, the senior setter. And Britta Borman, number 11, the senior libero. Chris Otto, the head coach of the Grand Rapids Thunderhawks. And as Stillwater takes their introductions, you'll notice that Maddie Oltgen, out for the season, had to get a screw redone in her right knee. They thought she might be able to play at the end of the season, but did not get the clearance to do so. So Stillwater, kind of like last year, starting without one of their key contributors. Maddy Whittington will take her place, who will be introduced in a moment. Super excited to play. Did not get much sleep, but she told me that's normal for game days. But perhaps sleep was a little harder to find because this is her first game in nearly 2 years. Bob Fisher, the head coach of Stillwater. Ponies making just their second appearance in the state tournament in school history last year. They did not win a set, though. But with Maddy Whittington back, that could change. Of course, we've got a long way to go before we worry about the section bracket in October. But I had a chance to get to know the Stillwater team last week at their media day. And Reece Koehler, Maddy Whittington, they feed off each other extremely well. Grand Rapids will serve. It might be a little tough to make out from this vantage point because both teams are wearing the black jerseys. Grand Rapids, obviously, with the orange trim. Stillwater with the red trim, white numbers. And as you know, the libero wears the off-color jersey. And Grand Rapids is going to start with their libero. Kaylee Orn, number 2. As you know, best of 5, we play up to 25 points, and you have to win by at least 2 to take a set. Stillwater on the first attack, and a hitting error gives the first point to Grand Rapids. And Sydney Desjarnett getting the start tonight, but the start, well, not that big of a deal here compared to other sports like football and basketball with all the rotations that take place throughout the course of a game. Nice hit by Brooke Aschenbrenner. Grand Rapids couldn't field it. And we're even at 1 apiece. This is Sydney Desjarnett. Low serve, Grand Rapids can't get it over. And as you know, you keep serving as long as you keep scoring under the rally scoring format. It's Catherine Raddick to put the ball in play. Attack from the right side, dug by Aschenbrenner. Whittington can't catch up to it in time. Point for the Thunderhawks. Grand Rapids, you may know of their basketball and hockey success over the last couple of years. Hockey won state in Class 2A a couple years ago, and in basketball they had an all-world talent in Heaven Hamling. But this is a team that reached the section final last year. Attack from the left side, Grand Rapids gets the dig. Batting it over is number 4, Anna Geislinger. And that goes off the wall almost. Orn bats it over, but a free ball for the Ponies. They'll attack from the left side, and the dig by Walsh. They've got a point if they let that go, but your first instinct is to get that dig. Teardrop by Whittington, picked up by the Thunderhawks. That goes off the net. Whittington bats it over from the middle. And Grand Rapids, that was close. You cannot cross that center line. Whittington attacks on the right side, gets a friendly bounce off the net. Point for the Ponies. As you know, you cannot cross the center line. You can also not touch the net or the antenna. Here is Ellie Springer making her first appearance, and again, starting not a priority as much as other sports. Andrea Markovich with the kill there. And Stillwater has a dash of multi-sport athleticism as well. We'll get to that in a moment. Nice play by the Ponies. Olivia Walsh, the setter, she wears number 9, part of the state championship softball team back in June. In fact, 5 state tournament titles won by the Ponies in the last calendar year, including baseball, softball, and skiing. And you may have seen the banner honoring newly minted Olympic champion Jessie Diggins. Grand Rapids went over the net. Point for the Ponies. 5-3 lead in the first set. And here is Maddy Whittington, the daughter of Missy. Maddie verbaling to Illinois. Her mother played there for college. And I asked her mother about the surrealism of playing at the same school she did. Hitting error on the Thunderhawks. Missy told me there was cautious optimism that she would choose Illinois. The Whittington still have a lot of family down there, but she said the first priority, the first instinct was to support Maddie no matter what school she chooses, and I'm sure she'll support Maddie's ace there. But it feels a little extra special when your daughter wears the same colors as you do. But as you know, when it comes to sports, even if you go to a conference rival, bloodlines trump alma mater. Maddie will get a lot of experience in the Big Ten, and she's put down a couple of big serves here to give Stillwater a run. Timeout, Grand Rapids. As you know, 2 timeouts per set, 1 minute each. Stillwater, as we noted, failed to win a set at the Class 3A state tournament last year. They lost in the opening round to eventual champion Lakeville North, and then they lost in the consolation round to Champlin Park. They will face one of last year's semifinalists tomorrow in Moorhead. And they'll play St. Michael Albertville on Saturday for the Breakdown Sideout Classic, the annual kickoff event akin to the Tip-Off Classic in basketball. So Stillwater Volleyball starting the season much like you would end the season if you go to state, 3 games in 3 days. We'll have our first live broadcast on August 28th with Elk River, another solid team. And then I'll be with you for the home finale, at least the regular season home finale. I believe there's a mini tournament later in the month of October, but October 9th we'll have the game against Eastridge. And another match to look for on the schedule, September 4th. They will travel to Egan, one of the perennials in Class 3A. Egan number 2, Stillwater number 4. Point going to Stillwater there. I believe the ball went out of bounds. Whittington with a soft serve. Nice. You can find soft serve at DQ, and you can find a soft serve with a 6'4" junior. More conventional serve that time. Claire Walsh gives the Ponies a free ball. Aschenbrenner gets the kill. And if you haven't watched us, or if you missed out on our volleyball coverage last year, it can get loud on that Stillwater bench. Whittington again with an off-speed lob. Block, but that goes to the Stillwater side. Grand Rapids finally ends the run. Stillwater had scored at least 5 in a row. 5 or 6. But they took a 2-point lead and extended it to 8. And some volleyball experts will tell you, if you can get a 6-point advantage or higher, you have a strong chance of taking the set. Block out of bounds. Off the block, as most broadcasters would say. Point for Grand Rapids. And Andrea Markovich demonstrates that her soft serve as well. So Maddy Whittington isn't the only one who can lob it in the front row. She does it again. Stillwater reads it this time. They go for the teardrop, and a collision between Markovich and Kaija Kinnunen gives Stillwater the point. And here comes Olivia Walsh, a member of the state championship softball team, punctuated by an outstanding pitching performance by Allison Benning, who was a freshman. A run no one saw coming. A lot of folks expect Stillwater to do damage on the volleyball court, though. And unlike some other gymnasiums, this place is AC, so if we get any late summer heat waves, as Aschenbrenner puts on a little touch for the point, we'll stay nice and cool, and I'm sure Terry enjoys that. Because if this didn't have AC, I think you would have walked out of here, right, Terry? Right, he says. Overpass on the Thunderhawks. Aschenbrenner was there to take advantage. As a few more fans slowly file in, it's a busy weekend to kick off the 2018-19 school year for Stillwater. Stillwater getting the block. Here's Desjarnett. Hitting error. And with all the success of Stillwater's teams, we should also point out that their athletic director, Ricky Michael, will be inducted into the St. Croix Valley Hall of Fame. Ricky, a Stillwater alum, has spent a lot of time at this facility and was on hand to see the construction and opening of the Ponies Activity Center last year. Kaija Kinnunen gets the left-handed touchdown for a point, 14-8. And with rally scoring, even if you go down big, you can come back in a hurry. Serving is Jenna Olson, and she serves it right into the net. Ponies take over. If you're curious, Missy Whittington, Maddie's mother, played under the old side-out era rules where you could only score if you were serving. If you're wondering, she prefers the rally scoring format. Reece Koehler with the block. Reece Koehler doesn't consider herself a chatty personality, although I beg to differ if you listen to her interviews. But she is quite analytical. She may get another chance here. Nope, instead they go to the left side. Front row was clogged up. Koehler couldn't get the kill there. Walsh, nothing doing. Blocked by the Thunderhawks. Walsh sets it up for Desjardins. Dig by Olsen. Another collision. Stillwater gets a free ball. Grand Rapids, they've collided on a couple of occasions. Reece Koehler, that was deflected by nobody. The right idea for Koehler, just couldn't get it in between the lines. So Koehler will go to the right side now. Haley Orn, the Grand Rapids libero. Koehler with the fake. It looked like Alexa Olchin went down the left side, couldn't keep it in. So a couple of hitting errors on the Ponies. Thunderhawks still hanging, but they trail by 6. They need to run. Olchin, that one deflected. And so Olchin will get the point off the block. Koehler will head to the bench. Here's Britta Borman, the Stillwater libero. Orn sends over a free ball. Desjardins blocked, but the net was touched. You cannot touch the net, and as a result, Ponies get the point. They keep it. Grand Rapids answers off the block. Megan Walsh gets the kill. And Stillwater getting a major facelift in its athletic facilities, becoming a crown jewel of the East Metro. And Stillwater, they'll concede a point. Olivia Walsh trying to set up the pass across the center line again. That's a no-no in this sport. It's also a no-no in basketball, a sport that I often cover regularly here at Stillwater Area High School. Another free ball for the Ponies. Who will do the honors? It's Whittington. She's blocked. They'll try again. This time they go from the back row. Aschenbrenner right over to Megan Walsh. Now she goes on the attack. Stillwater, can they save it? No. Point for the Thunderhawks. It's now a 5-point deficit for Grand Rapids. Three of the first 4 matches for Grand Rapids will come against section opponents. Service error on Anna Geislinger. Obviously, Stillwater is not one of them. The series between the two over the last 2 years has gone the distance, both teams splitting 5-set victories. From the back row, Aschenbrenner gets the kill. Here's Catherine Raditz, number 17. 5-3 setter. And Stillwater again crosses the center line. Point for Grand Rapids. Here comes Claire Walsh, 20-14. Grand Rapids still has a timeout left in this set. Stillwater has both remaining, and that's going to be a fantastic serve for Megan Walsh. And the Thunderhawks again cut the deficit to 5. They have not come closer in this first set. At least not since the opening tilt. Alexa Olchin will make sure it stays that way. Here comes Ellie Springer for service honors. 21-15. And set number 1, out of bounds. Ball goes back to the Thunderhawks, but they've been trading points. They're running out of time. Jenny Bowman serving to Stillwater. Here comes Ashenbrenner on the left side. Grand Rapids will get the save, but Whittington is there to throw down the block. That is the volleyball equivalent of a slam dunk. And at 6'4", Maddy Whittington, the tallest player on Stillwater's roster, in position to get those. There's that lob serve of hers. Grand Rapids reads it this time, but a little miscommunication, a hitting error on Claire Walsh. Into the net, Grand Rapids calls timeout. Stillwater 2 points away from taking the first set. Grand Rapids has some tradition in the sport of volleyball. One of them coaches with, let's just say, not so glamorous hairlines. Chris Otto and Brian Fideli both like to shine their domes a bit. Sometimes Coach Otto's referred to as Mr. Clean, and Chris joked with me that one of the new assistants, David Hack, when he came into the team, the volleyball players were a little disappointed that he had a full lock of hair, but it's a point of pride. They don't take themselves too seriously about the lack of hair at Grand Rapids. Chris told me he started shaving his hair at 24 and has kept it ever since. I'm not quite ready to do that yet because I can still rock the sideburns. But this group of women last year had a team GPA average, that's redundant, a team GPA of 3.61. It's the first game of the year. Maddy Whittington with the service error out of the timeout. Those ATO plays are crucial in basketball, and that timeout nets Grand Rapids a point. But Stillwater's still 2 points away from taking the first set. Grand Rapids, they trail by 6. Good serve by the Thunderhawks. They'll get a chance for an attack here. Lizzie Bowman completes the play. Lizzie Bowman, according to her teammates who actually measured her legs, Lizzie Bowman's legs are 4 feet long. Brooke Ashenbrenner rises up from the left side. If you're wondering, I have no idea how tall anyone's legs are in the Stillwater team. That's not a question I plan on answering anytime soon. I can tell you they are at set point. They have 6 to work with. Walsh to Ashenbrenner. The teardrop falls, and Stillwater takes set number 1. 25-18. Stillwater over Grand Rapids. And Stillwater 2 sets away from winning their opening match of the 2018 season. So we'll take a quick set break, and as we do that, I had a chance to interview Maddy Whittington and Reece Koehler last week, part of a feature I'll be doing on Ponies All Access. And Reece Koehler, let's just say, gave me enough material for 2 or 3 stories. So we're going to share a few of those anecdotes, including why she chose Seton Hall and how the team bonds on road trips.
I would say my role model would definitely be someone from the U of M team. I don't know very many pro sport athletes, but I would say at the collegiate level, I always had watched since a very young age. I had watched Molly Lohman, and I had watched Paige Tapp, and all those people, and pretty much they were just the people that I looked up to, and I saw how strong of blockers and hitters that they were, that I told myself, I want to be like them. I want to play at that collegiate level, and I'm going to do as much as I possibly can to get to that point. I got very fortunate actually that I was contacted by Seton Hall later than most people, and I think that really helped me because they were able to kind of like still watch me at AAUs, which is nationals, and then they had watched some of my YouTube videos, and I think that really took into consideration, like they really saw those videos and were like, she's got all the skills. And I even met with the team, and I got to play in their practice, and just overall the entire environment was just a welcoming place to be. And I really went to many colleges and toured, and Seton Hall was just a place where I felt most like me and I could be myself, and it checked all the right boxes. Our bus rides, they are super fun. We always blast the music super loud using our portable speaker. We'll listen to throwback songs like Frozen songs, which is pretty funny, from Disney. And then we always get to like rap songs, and we just like getting pumped up, like especially after games or even before games. It just gets us in the mindset that we need to be in.
While Reece Koehler chose Seton Hall for the suburban style feeling that she gets here at Oak Park Heights and the Stillwater area in general, Grand Rapids last season organized a fundraiser for cancer against Greenway, one of their biggest local rivals. It's one of the marquee matchups on their schedule. And both teams take part. They raised over $4,000 last year for the Itasca Area Cancer Crisis Fund. And they picked up a lot of support from local businesses, raffles, and t-shirt sales along the way. Over 400 t-shirts were sold. Naturally, they were pink, so it was a pink game for the two. It's a tradition. Greenway and Grand Rapids will continue this year. Greenway will host the match. They hope to raise the same amount or more. So a lot of positive vibes for both of these schools. In the case of Stillwater, Reece Koehler told me they don't want to mention the word state, and I don't think any team wants to jump ahead. Not even Lakeville North, the defending champions, Champlain Park, the #1 seed. And we'll see how they approach this season. They had a strong team, but then got caught up in some racially insensitive social media posts that led their top two players to be benched for the quarterfinal. That's one reason Moorhead was able to advance. Egan, as you know, always a contender. We mentioned Lakeville North. And there may be a team waiting in the wings. In fact, Forest Lake and East Ridge also ranked in the top 10 in preseason polls. So the Suburban East fields a competitive group when it comes to volleyball. And it's a shame we can't go everywhere. The Stillwater Forest Lake game is one of the biggest rivalries in Suburban East volleyball, but that same night, boys and girls soccer have their season finale right here, so that's where I'm going to be. But that's all right. We'll have plenty of volleyball, soccer, and football, both live and on tape delay throughout the season. Stillwater serves, and Grand Rapids scores to start set number 2. And I believe Megan Walsh made the play. The three sets of sisters, if you're wondering, for Grand Rapids: Lizzie and Jenny Bowman, Megan and Claire Walsh, and Andrea and Emma Markovich. Ashton Brenner got a favorable bounce off the net. As you know, if it bounces over the net and into the opposing team's side, it's still playable. Olchin, Orman couldn't get a clean hit on it, and a free ball for the Ponies. Olchin will try again. Dig by the Thunderhawks. Stillwater will try again. They are not giving up on the left side from Olchin. Grand Rapids goes left as well from Claire Walsh. Now down the middle, Maddy Whittington finishes the play. Raditz to serve. Megan Walsh with the kill. You don't see too many deep row attacks, but it paid off there for Walsh. It will be Jenny Bowman serving, the younger of the Bowman sisters. Maddy Whittington says, right back at you. Maddie getting active early in set number 2.
Ellie Springer in for Stillwater. She will serve.
Ellie Springer again to serve for the Ponies. Orman. Free ball. Ashenbrenner with the kill. And if you may not see this up close, but Bob Fisher having a word with one of his starters, Alexa Olchin. Walsh tried to get the hit there. Stillwater with the dig. Tap back to Stillwater. They'll reset. Whittington tried a little misdirection and says, my bad. But that's okay. In rally scoring, you're going to make a few mistakes. It's all about how you bounce back from it.
Jenna Olsen will serve.
Here is Jenna Olsen. One of the setters for the Thunderhawks. Getting a chance to play a few reps. In the back row, Springer with the dig. Raditz couldn't do much with it. Again, Raditz doesn't have the height to go after those kills the way Whittington and Ashenbrenner do. Ashenbrenner capitalizes on the overpass.
Reece Koehler in for Stillwater.
Ashenbrenner at 6 feet. And here's the 6'1" Reece Koehler. With the 6'4" Whittington serving. Right into the net. We did see this early in the first set. It was back and forth, and then Stillwater went on their run. Again, they led by as much as 8, and that was the only run they needed to take the first one. Stillwater reads the off-speed serve. Brooke Ashenbrenner picks up the point. DeJarnett will go in place of Raditz on the rotation. Walsh serves it right to our cameraman, John McClellan. Unfortunately, John is not eligible to play. So Grand Rapids gets the point. Haley Orn serving. Ashenbrenner off of Orn. Grand Rapids able to keep it in play, but a free ball for the Ponies. Koehler down the middle. Koehler studied her game by watching YouTube tutorials and would work on one skill at a time, mimicking what she saw on those YouTube tutorials. It's amazing what you can learn from YouTube these days. Hitting error gives the point to the Ponies. So they take a 2-point lead. Koehler, not as keen on showing this talent, at least not in the gym, but when she's not playing volleyball, she also spends some time on the viola. Here's Olchin on the attempt. Off the block, Ponies get the point. And the interesting thing about Koehler, as I mentioned, highly analytical. She even gave me a detailed breakdown of her post-game interview last year when the Ponies beat North St. Paul and the 4-3A section final to go to state. There is nothing she doesn't critique about herself, and she'll get the point off the block there. Some might say she's thinking too hard, but if nothing else, it shows that Reece Koehler is highly attentive, and I have to imagine that played a part into Seton Hall adding her onto their team. So Koehler will join the Big East this time next year. I believe Koehler and Morgan Grimm got together there. That's not Morgan Grimm, that's DeJarnett. Ashenbrenner from the back row. Off the net. And going cross court, Megan Walsh slams down the point. Koehler transitions to the right side, and one thing she'll do is communicate, and she feels that skill has developed immensely over the years. In fact, she's thinking about a marketing or communications career at Seton Hall. She certainly has her kill stroke down, and she gets a high five from Maddy Whittington as she goes to the bench for a breather. And much like the first set, the Ponies, after an early tussle with Grand Rapids, pulling ahead. They have a 5-point lead now, 11-6. Tight play at the net. Point goes to Grand Rapids. I couldn't see who got it. It gets a little crowded down there.
Megan Walsh for Grand Rapids. Megan Walsh serving.
Walsh sisters both in for Grand Rapids. Megan, the UTA recruit, will serve. That will go to the Ponies. Rule the deflection. But UTA, if that campus sounds familiar, it's home, well, obviously, of UTA. It's also where the Dallas Wings of the WNBA play their home games in the summer. That will be a service ace for Catherine Raditz. That ball either was touched or just brushed the line. As long as it brushes any part of the line, it's considered inbounds. I got to give props to those line judges because you need quick eyes, quick reflexes. And Jenny Bowman has some reflexes of her own. I believe she got the block down and the point for the Thunderhawks. Lizzie Bowman and Jenny Bowman both in. And Jenny Bowman will serve it out of bounds. Again, Lizzie Bowman has the 4-foot-long legs. She and Conan O'Brien might be able to relate. It's not something I study much of, but Lizzie Bowman, what an athlete. That's all I can say. While they have a few seniors, Chris Otto was really excited for the younger faces on this team, especially the 10th grade group. But again, Grand Rapids has a history of producing strong athletes from hockey to basketball. There isn't an activity where Grand Rapids is not a contender. That did not hit the floor. We play on. Whittington will get the kill for the Ponies. I can't tell you what the kill or ace count is for either side, but Maddy Whittington has been quite active. Service error, though. We mentioned Reece Koehler's favorite bonding activity, the team bus rides. Another bonding activity this team conducted before the season, according to Pat Tynan, one of the new varsity assistants, a road rally. I'll explain that in a moment. Aschenbrenner. That hit the antenna. So point for the Thunderhawks. The two-touch possession. Olivia Walsh catches Grand Rapids off guard. So the road rally is a scavenger hunt, but not only do you have to collect items, you also have to complete several challenges. And Britta Borman, the team libero, got a strike in her third attempt at bowling. Pat Tynan told me that sport tripped up a few of the other players. Megan Walsh with the teardrop. I'm not sure, but I have to presume that Olivia Walsh and the Walsh sisters at Grand Rapids share no relation. Reece Koehler, we know she carries high velocity, went with a teardrop there. Grand Rapids picked it up. Aschenbrenner will try from the left side. Grand Rapids with another save, but I believe, well, I don't have to believe. The officials ruled double contact. Tough to tell sometimes from where we're sitting, but in simple terms, a player cannot touch the ball twice. And sometimes it can go off their hands, ricochet off their arms, hitting error on the Thunderhawks. Again, volleyball officials, I would have to say, among the sharpest eyes when it comes to sports officiating because of how quick this game moves. DeJarnett straddles the net. Koehler will complete the play this time. And the Ponies building up another lead. They lead by 7. And they've been in control for most of this game. Service ace to Brooke Aschenbrenner. Timeout Grand Rapids. Stillwater in position to take set number 2. And from the looks of it, I'd say they could end their season opener with a 3-set sweep. Quite a few seniors on this team. And even though they have 2 D1 standouts highlighting their roster, with more to come, who knows? It's also a challenge for the Ponies because they graduated some high-level talent from last year's team. Rachel Houle, who is playing Division II volleyball now, and Kayla Jurdy was another one. Houle and Jurdy, the 2 leaders on this team, on the floor, and even though Whittington was unable to compete with her injury, they still named her a team captain. And Maddie considered the experience, learning the game on the sidelines, highly educational. We'll share a little more about that at the next break. Stillwater all over Grand Rapids. Brooke Aschenbrenner, too soft on the serve. You know, if I keep mentioning soft serve, maybe Dairy Queen will pick up on this and plunk down a few dollars in sponsorship money. If only. Grand Rapids trails by 8. Again, they've had their moments as Anna Geislinger serves that one into the net. The problem in these first 2 sets, letting Stillwater get on a big run early in the contest, and then they're unable to catch up. Stillwater leading by 9. They led by as much as 8 in set number 1. Overpass, easy pickings for Alexa Olchin. And a player you haven't seen much of yet for the Ponies, but a close friend to the senior class, Morgan Grimm. While she hasn't played too many points yet on the volleyball court, does more JV. Alexa Olchin smacks that one down. Ponies 2 points away from taking set number 2. Morgan Grimm works on the student newspaper, and I did a few interviews with her. Or I should say I did an interview with her. She and Reece go back to elementary school. But she told me it's a lot different receiving the questions than asking them. But maybe one day she'll take my job. Grand Rapids scores off the block. Claire Walsh, I believe, made the play there. But Stillwater in no serious danger of dropping set number 2. They have yet to take a timeout. That touched the antenna, so Stillwater with 9 set points to work with.
Springer serving for Stillwater.
Springer serving. And miscommunication on the part of Grand Rapids. The hitting error gives Stillwater a comfortable set 2 victory. 25-15, the final in set number 2, and the Ponies one away from winning their season opener. So another set break awaits us. The teams switch sides again. And let's hear what Maddy Whittington had to say. Again, these are some interview clips that you won't be seeing in our Ponies All Access story, but again, a great comeback story for Maddie. And even when you're not playing, as I alluded to earlier, you can still learn a lot. Let's find out how.
Well, I learned especially different techniques and how different techniques help certain players. And I think knowing myself as a player, I think certain techniques that I learned, I'm excited to try out for the season. You know, like certain shots, certain spots on the court that I saw. You know, I saw the game from a different angle.
ACLs, they take a long time, and so really recovering through that, she did an awesome amount of physical therapy. She had always been talking to me about it, and she really wanted to get back. You could totally tell based off of her facial expressions and stuff, and I think that really helped her tremendously.
I'm definitely expecting it to be overwhelming, all of my emotions coming back at once, but I've been ready. I've been waiting for 2 years to be back playing.
She is a huge role model and leader for our team, and she really has a strong hit, strong block. She gets up there. She has a very good vertical. I know volleyball is a big part of what she wants to do. I mean, she is playing at that Big Ten D1 level, and so I think that's very cool for her.
I'm just excited to play with my best friends. I did not play with at all last year, and I think I really missed a lot with that, so I'm just excited to be back on the court with them.
She really just shows the whole team her strength and her ability to adjust to obstacles, and it really shows how motivated and how excited she is to play this sport.
I definitely could not have recovered as fast as I did without them. They were there for me every day throughout the season, every day after the season ended. I could not have done it without them. They were there for me for whatever I needed.
Mike Beaton, all by myself, talking to myself. That's chaos theory. Well, I suppose Terry's here. Well, Terry, maybe we can make you a commentator. Stillwater leads Grand Rapids 2-0, 25-18, 25-15 respectively. It's been a typical game from your big hitters on the part of Stillwater, Aschenbrenner, Koehler, Whittington, Alexa Olchin as well. Grand Rapids reaching the section championship in 7-3A last year, losing to Forest Lake, a conference rival of Stillwater. As we mentioned earlier, Stillwater will go to Forest Lake on October 2nd. That is one of their biggest matches of the year. The sport of volleyball is a little different than basketball or hockey. You only get one conference match a year, as opposed to the pair that you'll get in basketball, hockey, and baseball, softball. Stillwater, as we noted, winning their section title, Section 4-3A a year ago. Their second in school history. And they look poised to repeat as section champions for the first time in school history. They are going to be the favorites most likely as Olsen scores in Section 4-3A. Eastridge figures to be their toughest contender. North St. Paul reached the finals. Mounds View had a solid group a year ago. Service ace. And Stillwater off to a roaring start in set number 3. Catherine Raditz. She's been racking up some aces over there. That one's short. Well, you can't be perfect all the time on those serves. Here comes Jenna Olsen. Olsen out of bounds. No touch. So Stillwater scoring the first 2 points. Grand Rapids answers with 2 of their own. So the pattern holding form throughout this match, where Grand Rapids can hang with Stillwater early, but it's that run that built Stillwater's lead in the early going. Maddy Whittington. She's going, gone. I'm sure for Missy and her family, a great sight to see. And volleyball, kind of a family sport, and athletics, very much a part of the Whittington household. Maddie's father, an Olympic handballer. That went off the net but stayed in play. As long as it does not touch the floor, you can still go get it. Whittington gets the kill. Whittington's family playing all sorts of sports. In fact, Missy told me she's not sure what the family would do without sports, because it's woven into their fabric. Out of bounds, point Grand Rapids. And that's not uncommon. A lot of multi-sport athletes. Grand Rapids, one of those schools. Stillwater almost crossed the center line. But Grand Rapids trying to get a point the old-fashioned way. They cannot. Aschenbrenner on the left side. Dig by Jenna Olsen. Here's Megan Walsh. Stillwater makes the play. But a free ball to the Thunderhawks. They haven't had too many of those. They'll set up on the right side. Lizzie Bowman couldn't keep it in bounds.
Maddy Whittington will serve.
Maddy Whittington played volleyball and basketball her freshman year. Still undecided about continuing her basketball commitments. Walsh laughs it off after passing it to absolutely nobody. Again, it's the first game of the year, so everyone's a little bit rusty. They've had some time to practice. And Lizzie Bowman's serve goes right into the net. But a lot of pride in the St. Croix Valley between the 5 state tournament titles and an Olympic gold medal for Jessie Diggins. Walsh with the service ace. And that kind of success can create a feedback loop. Serves are erratic here in this third set. A lot of servers who have picked up an ace have followed up with a service error. But they can feed off each other. Stillwater softball, they were under 500. Nobody expected them to make any kind of run in the playoffs. Then they win the whole thing. Had to beat conference rival Park to do it. Point off the block for Megan Walsh. Stillwater baseball. And their strong contingent of pitching. And skiing, maybe not a sport you think about as much, but they had quite the run too. And even sports that didn't win state championships. Point for Grand Rapids on the kill from Andrea Markovic. Boys soccer came oh so close to following up their championship. Lost to Wyzetta in a rematch. We mentioned volleyball and a miscommunication there. And for the first time, I believe, in this entire game, Grand Rapids is ahead in a set. Stillwater volleyball getting to state. First time they had done so in 8 years. Stillwater reaching state. They weren't able to get out of the consolation bracket, but a lot to be proud of here in the St. Croix Valley. Ponies get the point. 8-all. And for perhaps the first time in this game, Stillwater facing a little bit of pressure. But Brooke Aschenbrenner knows how to respond to pressure. Put some pressure of your own in. And she does just that on the service play. And she does it again. Another good serve. Geislinger couldn't keep her balance, crossed the center line. Ponies have scored 3 in a row. And that streak will end for the moment with Aschenbrenner serving it into the net. But if you're Chris Otto and Grand Rapids, this has to be encouraging because this was usually the time when Stillwater would pull away and Grand Rapids just couldn't counter. Orrin saves it. Koehler with the teardrop. Orrin with another save. Out of bounds. Whittington in for Koehler. That's going to be a great tandem down the middle for the Ponies. You've got a D1 senior and a D1 junior. And who knows how many more D1 athletes will come for Stillwater. Point for Grand Rapids. Can't quite make out the signal. Bob Fisher getting an explanation. Nope, it was overruled. The Stillwater players promised me they would watch some of this tape and relay some of the more obscure signals to me. Because otherwise I'll have to wait until Tuesday. Once again, Geislinger crossing the center line. So the Ponies' lead continuing to build. And Grand Rapids, once leading 8-7, find themselves trailing 13-9. They're in that danger zone again. And Britta Borman doesn't care. Throws a service ace. Grand Rapids calls a timeout. As once again, they face the danger zone. 14-9 is our score in set number 3. Now, once again, we'll be back here tomorrow. My camera crew won't be, so I'll have 3 new guys. We'll see how that goes. Moorhead comes to town. Moorhead making an extended visit in the Metro. They'll take part against a fellow state tournament contender from last year, and then they'll play in the Side Out Classic along with Stillwater. As we mentioned, Stillwater will play St. Michael Albertville at the Side Out Classic. right before Champlain Park plays. That should be fun. I will be covering the Twins game that night, so got to deal with that overlap. Next Tuesday, they play Elk River, and again, a big match that will serve as a huge barometer. Egan. Last year, Stillwater hosted Egan. The game went 5 sets. Egan emerged victorious. And the Ponies will also take part in 3 invitationals, 1 at St. Monica Albertville, 1 in Apple Valley, 1 in Chaska. Those invitationals, any coaching staff will tell you, can be pretty brutal because you're playing multiple games in a short span. They are condensed games, best of 3 instead of best of 5, but hard to tell who you'll play. Point for Grand Rapids. That was either Jenny Bowman or Markovic. I think it was Bowman who will be rotated out for her older sister. And there will be a lot of Stillwater coverage. And plenty of coverage on that block by Lizzie Bowman. There will be a couple of games televised by SCC when Stillwater goes to play White Bear Lake and when they play North St. Paul in October to end the regular season. Haley Orm with the service error. 15-11.
Lucy Zoller for Stillwater. She will serve.
Oh, this is a strong sign if you're the Ponies. They have yet to call a timeout. Well-placed serve by the Ponies. Jammed Haley Orn. And that came from number 10. Lucy Zoller, the 5'7" freshman, seeing some action. And she might see more of it. Throwing down a couple of tricky serves that Grand Rapids couldn't adapt to. Ponies with a 6-point lead, and it's looking more and more like they will take the season opener in a sweep. They have yet to call the timeout. Grand Rapids not going away, though. Claire Walsh picks up the point. And I'm going to take a seat because I'm going to wear out my legs doing this. Jenna Olsen serving. And serves out of bounds. A key metric, tough to measure at this level until you get to state, hit percentage. If you're wondering how that's calculated, you take the total number of attempts divided by kills and subtract errors. Stillwater's pretty good. Whittington ducked out of the way, so she'll get the point off the block. And Whittington again, this time on the block, denying Lizzie Bowman. Whittington, an outstanding, sensational performance in her first competitive game in nearly 2 years. Has some USA volleyball experience. Throws down the teardrop. Off the mark. Point Grand Rapids, but again, Stillwater in no serious jeopardy. That run of theirs took a little longer than the first 2 sets, but it's been that kind of a game for the Ponies. Dominating a perennial in the sport of volleyball. Of course, this is only the first game of the year. What you see now is going to look a lot different than what you see. And Stillwater thought they had the point. Olivia Walsh was celebrating. The officials said no. We're having a discussion. And it is point Stillwater. So a little bit of confusion. The point goes to the Ponies. Chris Otto kind of laughing it off. One of those crazy plays. Grand Rapids thought the play was still going. Stillwater thought they had the point. They do eventually get the point. Strange sequence, though. Here's Savannah Vincent, 5'2", setter and libero. She wears number 4. Grand Rapids, this time without a doubt, gets the point, but they trail by 7. Stillwater 4 away from taking this first match in a sweep. Lizzie Bowman to serve. She has a little bit of trouble, but not there. Grand Rapids rejects the attempt by Stillwater. This is what they need, a rally. They need to pick up multiple points on serve, and Lizzie Bowman having trouble with her consistency on serve. So Stillwater 3 points away. Olivia Walsh, the state champion softball player. Almost picked up an ace there, but Stillwater will get a free ball. They'll set up for Aschenbrenner. A little miscommunication, another free ball for the Ponies. Koehler finishes the play. And Morgan Grimm will go in with a couple of points left for the Ponies. As we said, Grimm also on the student newspaper. Walsh with the service error. And a longtime friend of Reece Koehler. They go back to elementary school. Grimm may not be as articulate as Whittington and Koehler, not yet, but I told her last week after she settled her nerves doing her first interview on the other end, Grimm getting the point there, I believe, off the block. It's all about reps. The more you do it, the better you'll get. And I think she could say that about her performance as a volleyball player. Stillwater with 8 match points. Brooke Aschenbrenner to serve. And it looks like Stillwater will win this one comfortably. And that, well, they'll have to wait a little bit longer as that was deflected. Megan Walsh with the point. But Grand Rapids still trailing by 7. It's been that kind of a game. Trailing by 7-8, most of it. Will Koehler get the finish? Yes. And Stillwater wins it a sweep. 3 sets to none. 25-18, 25-15, 25-17. So the Ponies off to a strong start. We'll see if they can keep it up tomorrow when they host the Moorhead Spuds. As we know, though, a long way to go before we worry about postseason implications. But you'll never complain about starting the match with a win. We'll bring our 2 D1 recruits up here for a post-game chat. You're watching high school volleyball. Stillwater sweeps Grand Rapids 3-0. And I'm joined by Reece Koehler and Maddy Whittington, Stillwater's pair of D1 recruits, at least for now. That might increase as the season... Sorry.
We're good.
All right.
That's why we have, the editing.
Yes,
part.
even I need it. And I'm joined by Reece Koehler and Maddy Whittington, Stillwater's pair of D1 recruits, at least for now. That number could increase as the season moves along, but... what did it feel like for the two of you to share the middle hitter position again?
Yeah, it was great getting back in the season, and we both did an amazing job today. We were swinging, we were blocking away, and honestly, it couldn't have gone better for like our first match this season.
Yeah, absolutely what Reece said. It was great being back on the court together. We hadn't done it in a while, so it feels really great to be back.
How would you assess each other's game? Because I know the two of you had a hard time answering which one was better, but I know the two of you often switched positions, so one of you would be on the bench, one would be on the floor. So how would you critique each other?
I mean, it's hard to critique because Maddie's just really good, okay? I'm just saying that right now. Yeah, no problem. But I think, like, she did an amazing job. Like, seriously, I cannot, like, pinpoint out one single thing that was, like, really bad about what she did today. And so I think, like, seriously, like, her blocking was amazing, her hitting was amazing, and I really don't think there's anything that stood out. So that's what I would have to say. It doesn't really answer the question, but that's my honest opinion. So
I wasn't expecting you to answer it that bluntly. And Maddie, what do you think? Does Reece still have a spring in her step?
I don't know. No, she did amazing. It's really great to go up against her at practice because, we push each other, throughout the whole 3-hour practice, 6 days a week, So it is a lot, but it's helpful for each other, I think.
And about this game, it was back and forth early on, and then each set you were able to get a big run and go up by 7 or 8. So how were you able to get those runs that allowed you to coast to a 3-set win?
yeah, I think we were all like really in the game, and we weren't thinking about the score at the time. We were just kind of going in it, giving it our best shot, and I think that really helped us throughout our game today. And also, we just continued to swing. We didn't just put a little easy ball over the net. We continued to try and swing away, I think. So.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked before the game, we just got to focus on playing our game. Let's not focus on the score, like what Reece said. So I think we just did a really good job of executing that.
Maddie, last week you spoke to me about how excited you were to return to the volleyball court after nearly 2 years. Now that you've had your first game in a long time under your belt, what are your feelings now?
I'm happy to be back, of course, but we got a lot more season ahead of us, and I'm just looking forward to the next game tomorrow night.
And you have a state tournament participant from last year in Moorhead, so you've got a pretty loaded weekend to start this season. But Reece, from your perspective, I know you talked to me about keeping Maddie's spirits up while she was recovering last year. How cool was it to have her on the floor in a game like this tonight?
It was amazing. I mean, she really is a strong player on our team. And so having her up there and blocking and hitting was just, I think, a huge relief for our team. She made it like a lot easier. A lot of us were less nervous because we all knew that she was going to go up there and give it her all. And I think that's really a cool thing about Maddie is that she's really, really great about always going up, ready to swing, being really aggressive. So. Yeah.
Speaking of swings, I don't want to be in the vicinity of one of those swings. Maddie's got some velocity. She's got some heat.
Oh, yeah, she's definitely got some heat going on, yes.
Maddie, where do you get that heat?
Just lots of practice, just working on my shots, working on my swings.
I'm sure it was your mother who taught you all that, right?
Absolutely.
Who do you want to say hi to?
I would like to say hi to my grandpa who came out to my game today, and it was amazing seeing him because he actually lives in Florida. And so for him to come and watch one of my games before he goes back to Florida was really nice, and it shows a lot that he really supports me and my family. And then also, of course, my parents, and then I do have my brother who came. He goes to the U of M, and so he came out today just for one day to hang out with us, talk with us, and then watch my game as well. So the support that I'm getting from my family is amazing.
What about you, Maddie?
Same thing. My family, my mom and dad came, and my brother, he unfortunately couldn't make it tonight, but, he wanted to come, and I just want to say hi to him.
Not only that, your mother served as the line judge in the JV game, so she still knows a thing or two about volleyball.
Absolutely, yeah. She still coaches me before every game, after every game, tells me what I can and can do better, can and can't do, or what I should and shouldn't do during games, so, she's always there for me.
Well, it's clear you have some great teachers, and I can't wait to see what tomorrow brings and what this season brings. But needless to say, I think you've got the middle covered.
Oh, yeah, we got it covered for sure.
Got it down.
Well, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you here tomorrow, and we'll see if you can follow up this sweep with another one.
All right, sounds
All
good.
right.
Thank you.
Reece Koehler and Maddy Whittington, that wraps up our coverage from the volleyball season opener here at Stillwater High School. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, I'm Mike Beaton. Thanks for watching.